which will allow them to transfer their powers so that Druig may mind control Tiamat. When Kingo tells Icarus that he would follow him to the end, Icarus tells him that he is not who Kingo thinks he is.
6 days earlier, we see Ajak having gone to visit Ajak to tell him about the emergence, and how the Avengers, having brought everyone back to Earth after Thanos erased them, brought about the energy needed for the Deviants to come back. She has since begun to doubt their purpose and thinks they shouldn't go through with the mission because of how close they have become with the people of Earth. Icarus brings Ajak to a location near an icy lake where he has located Deviants. Because he refuses to abandon the mission, he throws Ajak to the Deviants, where Crow goes on to absorb her energy and gain her power. Icarus flies her body to her house, where he will later find her with Sersi and Sprite.
Phastos sends Makkari to locate the source of the emergence, which turns out to be an active volcano in the Indian Ocean. Icarus goes to stop their plan, as he soon reveals that Ajak told him about the emergence after they left Babylon. They realize that he killed her and is planning to go through with the emergence at whatever the cost. Sprite joins him due to her love for him. Kingo ends up leaving the team with Karun for fear that he will end up getting him killed if they have to go against Arishem. Although Sersi expresses her doubts, Thena assures her that she was chosen by Ajak to succeed her for a reason. Phastos then offers to reprogram the stone in Sersi from linking to Arishem to linking to all of them to form the Unimind.
The Eternals gather by the volcano and begin to battle Icarus. He seemingly kills Druig and fights the others just before Crow arrives to attack. Thena fights Crow, where he taunts her and nearly absorbs her life force until she slices him to pieces. Sprite attempts to take down Sersi, but Druig emerges and knocks Sprite out. After they subdue Icarus, the Unimind is activated and Sersi takes on the combined powers of the other Eternals as Tiamat begins to emerge from the volcano. With her powers, Sersi freezes Tiamat and causes it to remain as some kind of statue. Icarus frees himself, but he feels great remorse for his actions and chooses to fly himself directly into the sun. In the aftermath, Sersi understands Sprite's frustration with her life, so she uses the Unimind to take away Sprite's immortality so that she may live a normal human life.
The Eternals split up once again, with Thena joining Makkari and Druig on the Damo as they go look for other Eternals. While Phastos returns to his family, Sprite lives as a human, and Kingo returns to his work, but they all maintain a firm love for one another. Sersi rejoins Dane, who tells her that his family history is more complicated than he realized. Suddenly, Arishem appears in the sky and summons Sersi, Kingo, and Phastos. He tells them that he knows that they failed his plan for the emergence, but chooses to spare them for now, and then disappears.
Mid-credits, Thena, Makkari, and Druig are struggling to find other Eternals, as well as their own friends who have vanished. They are then found by a troll named Pip, Patton Oswalt, and his employer, Eros, Starfox, Harry Styles, brother of Thanos and fellow Eternal, who promises to help the other three in their mission.
Post-credits.
Dane is in his family home staring at the ebony blade, seeming hesitant to grab hold of it. Before he can make up his mind, an off-screen voice, Mahershala Ali as Blade, asks Dane if he really feels he is ready.
The Eternals are a team of immortal superheroes sent by the celestial leader Arishem to Earth for the purpose of protecting humanity from the Deviants, a breed of alien predators that target humans. In the present day, leader Ajak is killed by a deviant named Crow that absorbs her energy. She chooses Sersi as her successor, and she joins her former lover Icarus, as well as the youngest Eternal Sprite, to round up the other members, Thena, Kingo, Druig, Makkari, Phastos, and Gilgamesh. Sersi soon learns the true purpose of the Eternals. They were created by Arishem to help bring forth the emergence, which is the birth of new Celestials after overtaking the intelligent life on other planets. Sersi, as well as most of the other Eternals, have come to love the people of Earth and refuse to go through with the emergence. However,
Icarus has always been set on seeing the plan go through, so he had Ayok killed and allowed Crow to absorb her energy. Crow also kills Gilgamesh before Sprite joins Icarus since he has always been in love with him.
The Eternals find that the site of the emergence will be a volcano where the celestial Tiamat will rise. Phastos comes up with a plan for Cersei to link with everyone as part of the Unimind, where she can use the combined powers of the Eternals to stop Tiamat. They fight Icarus and Sprite and subdue them long enough for Cersei to use their combined powers to freeze Tiamat. Icarus is overcome with guilt and flies himself into the sun. Cersei uses the Unimind to take away Sprite's immortality so that she may live a normal life among humans.
The Eternals split up again, and Arishem appears to summon Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos after they deviate from his plan, but chooses to spare them for now. Thena, Makari, and Druig get help from Thanos' brother, Eros, to help find them and other Eternals. Meanwhile, Cersei's boyfriend Dane Whitman comes across his family's sword, the Ebony Blade, and is asked by none other than Blade if he feels he is ready to take up the mantle.
In Fort Lauderdale, Hitman brothers Jack and Patrick Blackwell, Aidan Gillen, and Nicholas Holt enter the home of a district attorney under the guise of being there to check the gas. After killing the man and his family, they rig the house to blow as they move on to their next targets. Hearing the news is Owen Costerly, Jake Weber, and the DA was his boss. Owen gets his son Connor, Finn Little, and heads out. Connor realizes something is wrong when Owen doesn't take him to school, but Owen insists that he did the right thing despite looking scared.
Hannah and her colleagues are at a ceremony for new smoke jumpers, along with Sheriff Ethan Swire, John Bernthal. After the ceremony, the crew gathers for drinks before Hannah does a stunt off a truck involving a parachute. After gaining enough speed, she opens it and floats away until she goes down a slight hill and is arrested by Ethan. He drives her far enough until he can let her go, and he thinks that she is doing stunts like that for a more personal reason.
The Blackwells go to the Casterly house to find it empty. Jock finds Owen's laptop while Patrick goes through files to determine where he may be headed. Ethan goes home to his pregnant wife Allison, Medina Sengor. They are contacted by Owen, who is his brother-in-law, and asks for Ethan's help in keeping him and Connor safe. Owen drives them to a motel for the night, where he writes down his personal secrets for Connor to give to the news and authorities, but to never read for himself.
Hannah goes to the lookout tower where she works now. She talks to a colleague over the radio and expresses her guilt over the incident, as the fire not only killed some of her teammates, but also 3 boys who were trapped in the middle of it all. Hannah thinks that because she read the wind wrong, it's her fault that they are dead, but her colleague tries to assure her otherwise. When she returns to the tower, lightning begins to strike the area. Hannah attempts to climb down just before the tower is struck, but she falls to the ground.
Owen and Connor continue moving, but the Blackwells corner them and shoot their car off the road. They crash down a hill, and Owen gives Connor his written statements before telling him to hide and reminding him he loves him. Connor hides as the Blackwells go down the hill. Owen revs his engine to divert attention away from Connor, and the Blackwells finish him off. A woman stops by to survey the accident, but Jack shoots her in the head and moves her car off the road before he and Patrick head back out. They hear on the news that the only bodies found were Owen and the woman, but not Connor.
After Hannah wakes up, she finds Connor wandering alone in the woods. Although he is rude and attempts to fight her off, she lets him know that the nearest town is too far for him to go off on his own, so he sticks with her for help. She takes him up to the tower until they figure out who to contact. The Blackwells report to their employer, Arthur Phillip Tyler Perry. He is aware that Connor is still alive and knows that this means he can still bring the evidence against them to the press, so he orders Jock and Patrick to find the boy and finish him. In order to lure him out, Jock takes several road flares and tosses them into the woods to start a fire. Ethan spots the smoke in the distance as it begins to spread.
The Blackwells make it to the Sawyer home and pose as FBI agents. Allison knows something is wrong and tries to keep them out, but they barge in and attack her. Patrick threatens her with a hot fire poker unless she tells them anything she can about getting closer to finding Connor. Allison lies and says that Ethan has Connor, so she calls him and pretends to ask about him, but Patrick knows that she tried to use a code word with Ethan and tries to shoot. She grabs a spray can and uses the fire in the fireplace as a flamethrower to get the Blackwells away from her. She escapes the house with a rifle. Ethan later finds the brothers at his house and exchanges fire with them, but the Blackwells overpower him and take him.
Hannah guides Jake through the field at night when lightning starts to strike again. They start